7, I think. Week 7, right?
Week 7.
It's week 7.
Today.
Prop Nation. I'm Sully. This is John Roberts. He's coming to you from his iPhone off the coast in Australia. And
man.
And I'm coming to you from upstairs in my new mezzanine, but I couldn't get the camera to work because I don't have Wi-Fi out here, and this old pole barn is steel, and it rejects Wi-Fi. So I need to dig a cable, run an Ethernet line out here. It's gonna be a whole thing.
That sucks.
But I mean, the set's coming along. It's kind of cool. I got
yeah,
it's pretty. You know what? I got I'm screwing around here. I got cars up. I got a bunch of jerseys up. You know, we'll get this all sorted. That's pretty cool.
Man, it's looking good. It's coming together, and it's looking good.
Yeah.
Let me describe where I am. So my parents have a place down the coast. Hang on, I'm going to stop this music real quick. My parents have a place down the coast real quick that it's like this beautiful log cabin that overlooks the ocean. It's got like the national park behind it. It's got all this like beautiful stuff. We had our wedding here as well. It's just like a nice tranquil place. After my day yesterday, Saturday, I was just like moving shit around. It was a nuts day. We got halfway down here to drop off some stuff at my uncle's place, who lives in like a neighboring town. And I was just like, you know what? Let's just go all the way. And so now I've got my son's here. He's out in the back with my mom. They're gardening. They're having a good time. So
you're having a beer, I saw, and
I've got a beer as well.
What time is it?
I'm gonna have a beer. Right it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Sunday afternoon. So I thought let's just do a show.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, you know what? Let's jump in. Let's jump into
light
this.
one.
I know.
Let's get into it.
I know you don't have a lot of time. So let's.
I've got my notes as well. I don't have my laptop, so I've got my mail-in notes ready to go. I'm going to call up DraftKings, get their address so I can post off my bets like they used to do in the 80s and 90s.
Mail them in. For the record, John sent me a list this week that had like 100 picks. And, I was like,
that was my short list.
Like, what happens if you put $1 on it and parlay the whole thing and see what happens?
Oh man, we should try that.
$6 million later, we should try
that,
John. Oh, but you know what?
No, we shouldn't. We don't light money on fire here.
No, I mean we do. Last week we kind of did.
Well, Thursday night football was good.
Yeah. What would you finish at?
Jags Saints. I was 3-1, so I got one wrong. Being Chris Olave, man, 15 targets and couldn't get the 65 receiving yards that I needed. But Derek Carr over passing, that was really good. And then the two running backs, Travis Etienne over pass catching and Alvin Kamara over rushing or scrimmage. Yeah, it was good. It was good in that regard.
Yeah, it was. You had a really good week. I've been catching the injury bug like friggin' crazy. Like it just seems like every single player
Justin
that I
Fields.
take in a parlay, they just get injured. Just get getting crushed on the parlays. The singles have been good, but the parlays just been no bueno. No bueno.
Yeah.
Let's try and course correct that this week. Let's
get it
on. Let's. You know what? You have a couple picks that you really liked. Why don't you start with one?
So I want to start with, I'm looking at the Bills who are going to the Patriots, and I'm going to go against everything that I've done to date in this show, and that's go against the trends. I'm looking at Josh Allen. I'm looking at right now, so his prop lines for rushing have been around 40, 45 each week for the first 6 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he's gone way under them every single week. Last week, he had just 2 rushing yards. And I think that the books have finally caught up to that. So now they want to set a line of 20.5 rushing yards. And even though Josh Allen has not gone over these rushing yards, his prop lines yet, I think this is the week that he does.
Okay,
so I'm taking the over on 20.5 rushing yards. And the reason being is I think the Pats defense is still really good. But Bill Belichick, he struggles against against dual threat quarterbacks, against rushing and mobile quarterbacks. Like last year, we saw the Bears go into Foxborough and Justin Fields destroyed the Patriots in that game.
Lit them on fire. Yeah, lit them on fire.
Lamar Jackson has always had success against Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. So he struggles. And Josh Allen, who has not been rushing, I understand that. I think that this might be a game where he might need to do a bit more rushing. The other thing I wanted to briefly mention as well, I was listening to another pod, I think it was the Ringer Gambling Show, and they were talking about unders, so total team game unders on the season so far through the first 6 weeks, the lowest they've been since 1991. Explosive plays are down, touchdowns are down, defensive is up, penalties are up. So I think that we're not getting too many blowouts. I know the Miami Dolphins are trying their best, but to get these overs, but for the time being, it's not happening. And so I think that there could be a bit of. I'm not 100% sure on this one. I wanted to get your thoughts on it as well.
Okay.
But this is what I'm looking at for the quarterback.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to validate that. It's not
Okay.
one that I would have otherwise have taken, but I kind of like it, and I also realized that that injury that just happened in the Buffalo backfield with
to Damian
Harris.
Yeah.
So Damian Harris is done.
Yeah.
And they were splitting a ton of time. Now Latavius Murray's been getting a crap ton of attempts, of carries, and not even when they're handing it off. He's just been on the field a lot. The snap count's high. So I do think though that the trickery will be there, and I think that there'll be a couple designed runs from. They've been preserving Josh Allen, honestly, they've been preserving him, and
they've also been in matchups where they've been blowing teams out and they haven't really.
They haven't had to.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have to in this game either, but I also think that the trickery against Bill Belichick, divisional games bring out.
That's what makes me nervous. Yeah,
no, it doesn't make me nervous. It actually goes the other way for me.
Oh, it validates it. Okay.
Yeah, it validates it. I think that with the division like this, how tight these two teams play each other. I mean, notoriously, Buffalo just beats the absolute crap out of New England recently. The years prior, New England just used to just take it to Buffalo. But it's been, I don't even
and they're
know
getting
what
their
the
revenge
past
now.
4 games have been. Yeah, I don't know what the past 4 games have been, but I think it's been extremely lopsided in Buffalo's favor. So, I mean, the trickery will come out. There'll be a couple things in that game that you wouldn't have otherwise expected. I noticed on your list that you had Stephon Diggs under. Is this the week? And it just perked my ears a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know what? To be honest
only
with you,
because the Patriots have shut down every single wide receiver one so far that they've faced. They've shut them all down.
So
yeah.
My initial thought on this game was going with Latavius Murray on the overs. I don't even know what the number is right now, but that was my initial thought was, okay, if we take a look at Murray, power back, look at how are they just going to try and control the trenches. I'm a big James Cook kind of guy, but to me, it just feels like it's a power back kind of game. And I honestly think
his workload is starting to decrease as well.
Yeah, James Cook is, yeah. So, but here it comes. So if you're running the crap up the gut, if you're running the ball a ton up the gut, and you have the opportunity to fake that handoff, quickly turn, take the outside, power outside, while the box is committed to the middle, you're going to get Josh Allen at least. I think that's going to happen. At least two designed runs, very similar to that, power runs. And if he scrambles for a couple, notorious for scrambling for the first. So he goes for two first down scrambles, 6 to 7 yards, two designed runs. There's your yardage. And I think that is a very easily accomplishable.
That's what I think. I was looking at the lines on Action Network. There's a couple of 25s out there, but you can get some 20s in some areas. So if you can get some 20s, definitely, I'm into it.
Side note.
So okay, cool.
My hockey prop just hit. So that's nice.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Anyway, so here we go. So that's your quarterback of choice.
That's it. That's what I'm going with. I had some other ones, but I'm like, this is the one I feel best about this week.
I like Matt Stafford pass completions.
Nice one. That was also on my list.
The line's been pretty slippery on that one. I don't even know where it went to. That's why I was just trying to pull it up right now to see where it's at for everybody.
Don't ask me any questions this week. I can't go and check them for you.
Exactly. I got to go. So it's
unfortunately I
don't
have the weather.
It's been fluctuating between 22 and 23.5, and so it's at 22.5 square in the middle. 2.5, I really like it. And if you wanted to take that with Puka Nakua, and I've seen him down at 4 flat. So if
Really?
you can
Yeah.
get him
Okay.
at 4 flat, yeah, if you can get him at 4 flat, so 4.5's been pretty consistent. I can't remember
Yeah.
what line I saw him. I just I do my rounds, right, and I saw it over at 4. It was really low, and the
Yeah.
odds weren't very good on it. But if you have the opportunity to get that at 4, that's a nice little
Yeah.
parlay booster for you. So I think Puka Nakua at 4 to even 4.5 feels pretty safe to me. Cooper
Yeah.
Cup sitting at 7.5 on most books.
I
That's
do have a note on Cooper Cup that he's just going to have an enormous game.
Do you think he's got a 93 receiving total right now? Last I checked, anyway. That was earlier today. It was 93.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously there's no value in putting him in the 100 camp at the moment, but like yeah, I think it's going to be
Oh, he's
huge.
91
That's
and
where
a
I
half.
get
He
a
went
bit
down.
nervous, so I'm not too sure. Yeah.
91 and a half. I mean, it's a lot of yards. It's definitely a lot of yards. Oh, I lost your audio there, John. Johnny, lost your audio.
No, all good. I was
There
just
you go. Oh, sorry.
looking at Charlie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You keep going, keep going.
Yelling at your child. Okay. Yes. So, hey, Deontay Johnson's back. Just on a side note, Deontay Johnson's back. I think the whole world thinks he's just going to step in and start catching a crap ton of balls. He's settled for 5, and I don't know. To me, that kind of feels like that's too many. Hey, Charlie, flip on the audio.
The baby's here.
Yes, can
He's
Charlie
in.
say hi?
You want to say hi?
Charlie, can you say
Nah.
hi to the world? No, he's like, no, absolutely
He's
not.
having a tough one.
So hey, so what do you think, Deontay Johnson? I mean, I'm not going to take it, but they have him at 5 receptions, and I actually kind of like the under on that. Strangely, I don't know if they're going to
Yeah.
get him back into the mix the same way.
Yeah, it's the Steelers are tricky because they've been very low in pretty much every area so
Mm-hmm.
far this season. I mean, he's been good for fantasy lineups if he can get that touchdown that's needed. Steelers are hard to trust. Kenny Pickett, having said that, though, from memory, he has gone over a lot of his passing lines. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that one Houston game he really struggled. I think he even got injured at the end of it. So yeah, unders would probably be the play. I mean, unders has sort of been the play. It's interesting because even though I said like over unders for game totals have all gone under, the actual like props and scrimmage yards have all gone over for the most part. So
Yep.
yeah,
Okay, so let me move on. Let me move on right now to running backs. I'm going to talk about. There's just one game that's on the slate that has 2 backup quarterbacks playing, and this bodes very well. Bodes very very well to a running back heavy script. So
yeah.
I'm looking at both Josh Jacobs and Donta Foreman.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
yeah, and I like Josh Jacobs on the receiving total actually, not on the rushing
Yeah, he's on
side.
my list.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I think Brian Hoyer check down monster. He
yeah,
loves to check the ball down. So you could either look at the tight end at Mayer, because I think
hmm
he's still of a ton of value. Remember the other week when I
yeah.
said I think this is Mayer's week to get going, and I couldn't put my money where my mouth
You're
was. I
right,
didn't
man.
have the
He had a
balls that
game.
week. I
Yeah,
didn't have the balls, and I don't.
yeah,
That's not usually like me. I don't. I'm
yeah,
usually the balls are big,
yeah.
but I didn't have the balls
I
to
hope
do
I
it. But
haven't
it
been like
happened.
pumping too much doubt into your mind about some of the ones where you're like, nah, I've got a good feeling about this. And I get
Yeah,
sort of like,
yeah.
oh, I don't know. Yeah,
So this week I have a good feeling about Josh Jacobs on his receiving total, and I have a good feeling of Mayer for his
yeah,
reception total. So I think
yeah,
he's going to be at 3 receptions. I think that's
yeah,
awesome. I don't know about the
yeah,
yardage, but I really like the
yeah,
3 receptions, and I really like Josh Jacobs at 20. I saw him at 20 today.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if,
I've
if
got
you could get
20.
if you could get Josh Jacobs at 20 yards, and Michael Mayer at 2.5 receptions, stack those. And Donta Foreman on the other side of things, 15.5 rushing attempts.
Yeah,
If the kid comes out and he can't throw, um,
it's going to
they're going
be
to
a heavy run
run the
game.
ball.
Yeah.
And he's
No,
the only
I
back, right? I think is it Travis Homer? He's back.
yeah, he'll be there,
Aside from that, I
but they
mean,
don't
he'll
use
he'll
him.
get. He may. That's what I mean. He'll get 4 or 5
Yeah,
carries. They're going to try and
yeah,
run the ball 25 times, and I
yeah,
don't think it's going to be the quarterback that's running. So I think Donta
yeah,
Foreman's rushing attempts really
yeah,
like it. 15.5, if you can grab the over on that, boom,
Yeah.
book it. And then the other side of the ball, Josh Jacobs, 20 receiving, and then Michael Mayer, 2.5 receptions. Take it for
Yeah.
that game.
Beautiful. I love it.
You like
And
it?
I've
Cool.
got my two running backs. So Josh Jacobs was one of my running backs that I've got here. Over 20.5 receiving is what I've got. 6 consecutive 15 plus receiving games. So he's getting utilized a lot in the passing
Mm-hmm.
game with his receptions.
Even more
And
now
the
with the
Bears
backup.
and every running back that's faced the Bears defense has hit over their receiving prop line as well. So they haven't been able to stop anybody. Josh
Mm-hmm.
Jacobs gets utilized a lot. A lot of backups in the game. Low over under. I think this would be my lock of the week. I would
I
say
love it.
is Josh Jacobs over 20.5 receiving yards.
So
You could
we
even
were
look
in
at
the
the
same
receptions
mind.
as
We were
well.
in the same mind,
Yeah,
John. We were in the same mind.
exactly.
I love it.
And then my other one
Mhm.
that I was just quickly looking at was Ken Walker over 80.5 rushing yards at the Cardinals. I like as well. It's a 44.5 over under, so that's nice.
These two teams play each
Seahawks
other really hard, John. Do you know how many times
they
these
do, they
teams
do.
they've gone to overtime more than any other team?
Yeah.
Two teams, I'm pretty sure. Like these two
Well,
teams, they beat the crap out of each other.
the line is Seahawks -7.5, and I like the Cardinals there. Like I
I
think
do,
that's
and you're a
pretty
Seahawks
obviously
fan, so
Cardinals. Yeah, and I'm a
yeah,
Seahawks fan. Yeah,
and you're a Seahawks fan. But I mean, wouldn't you feel more advantageous to take the rushing attempts? Like if there is a gridlock, which I think there's going to be this game, if there's a
yeah,
gridlock at the lines, and I mean, Ken Walker's so good, right? He's so elusive, but
yeah,
I have a feeling that this game is going to be established in the trenches, and it makes me feel like there's going to be a ton of running,
yeah.
but it
My
doesn't
only
get the
thing
80,
with that, my only thing with that is the Cardinals defense, they're young, man, and we're getting through the season now, and they're starting to take hits, and that wear and tear is starting to catch up with them.
Are you watching that in
If you're gonna
statistics?
if you're going to if you're going to bet the rushing attempts, you're thinking more about the Seahawks scheme than you are the Cardinals defensive ability. And I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
not rely on the Seahawks scheme. I'd rather rely on taking advantage of a young Cardinals defense. I know, I mean, they're at home,
Yeah.
but I still like it. Like 4 consecutive running backs have all had success getting their rushing prop lines against the Cardinals. That was Tony Pollard, Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, and Kyron Williams.
All very
And
good
I've got
running backs.
and I think Ken Walker's right there with them. Ken Walker's had 3 consecutive weeks of getting his rushing props, so I think
Mhm.
like Josh Jacobs is my first go-to running back, but I do also sort of really like this one as well.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I do like it. It's going to be tight. I think it's going to come down to the wire on that, though. I think if
Yeah,
you've got that prop bet, you're going to be in the fourth quarter. You're going to have
yeah,
3 minutes left, and you're going to go,
yeah.
fuck, we need 9 yards. We need nine
Oh yeah,
goddamn yards,
that's the story of
and
my life, buddy.
it's just sweating. But yeah,
Yeah,
and then you're gonna watch every run that happens in the fourth quarter. He's only gonna get a yard, get knocked back two. He's
yeah.
gonna
But
it's just gonna be stressful.
don't you think that this game's kind of got overtime written all over it as well?
That's just what I'm saying. Like these two teams go to
Yeah,
overtime a ton. It does have
yeah,
overtime written all over it, and
yeah,
I think the Seahawks win this, and I think they win it by 3 or 4. And if it does manage to go to
yeah,
overtime, I think they're going to win it by 6. I think that's
yeah.
when Gino's going to cock one out to DK, and game over. Watch him sail into the end
Nice
zone.
one.
Yeah. Okay, so I do
Um,
like that. Now,
I want to move now to my wide receiver option that I really like this week, and it's kind of a weird one. I'm looking at the New York Giants going to the Washington.
this is such
Oh,
a
sorry,
weird one,
versus the
John.
football team. I'm looking at
With no
Wandale Robinson.
with no Daniel Jones.
I don't look. Tyrod, in all honesty, might be a better passer at this point than
He's a
Daniel
better
Jones.
quarterback. We all know he's a better quarterback.
Yeah, Wandale Robinson, since he came off his injury and he's come into the league this season, has hit all of his reception total. So I realized the first time he was here it was only 2.5, and then 3.5, and all that. But he was targeted a ton last week. He had like 8 catches, and then he only had like 35 yards out of them. But if you can get 3.5 catches here,
Mhm.
the Washington football team have given it up since week 2. Every receiver one has hit their prop line against the Washington football team. And Wandale Robinson, he's the receiver one on this team. And it's not even close. I know they've got receivers everywhere, but Paris Campbell's kind of out of it now. They don't use Isaiah Hodgins too much anymore. basically it's Darius Slayton, it's Darren Waller, but he's still like they do use those tight
What's
end
happening with
packages as
Jalen
well.
Hyatt? Like, what is
And
happening
Jalen
with
Hyatt,
Jalen Hyatt?
he's just all deep balls. That's all they use him for. So in the slot, Wandale Robinson over catches against the football team. I think it's a really, really nice bet.
Yep, I like that. I like that.
It's a weird one. I know what you mean. It's a weird one.
It's definitely a weird one, but no, I'm on board. There are so many games that feel like the wide receivers are going to go under in this week. Doesn't this week not just feel like a slog week? It
So
feels like
I
an
was going to
unders
say
week.
to you, I was going to say to you before the show that I was basically all of my props. I wanted them to all just be unders for the week because I had so many more unders than overs this
Me
week.
too. Like when I look at the slate, I feel that. I really do, and especially when you look at that Indianapolis Colts game, it feels like every Colts receiver is going to go under.
Right.
Against the Browns.
That's
I
do have a note here. My note here in the top corner just says Browns Colts unders everywhere. That's my note for the game.
Yeah.
Find a line, bet the under.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. There's not one that I can just pick out of that though. Like I mean, Minshew's been staring quite a bit at Josh Downs. So the reception total, I actually don't mind Josh Downs. I just don't know about the yardage.
I'd be under, like Michael Pittman under. I just like they've shut down every receiver one, and he's been playing really well. He's hit over all of his prop lines, so they might be high. So you can probably take advantage of that.
Some real fishy stuff. Some real fishy stuff, but not a lot of people like taking the unders here. So like I'm gonna leave that one for the audience to decide. But I'm gonna go over to Josh Reynolds, and I'm gonna say Josh Reynolds over on his on his receiving total. The receptions as well, John. I saw your note that you had there. You had the note for over 2.5 receptions, which I completely agreed with. As soon as I looked at that game, I thought Josh Reynolds was the guy too.
He's been playing amazing, man. He's been playing really, really well.
I think I saw the line at 31, 31 for his receiving yards, and I mean that just seems like a friggin' steal.
Yeah, I mean I understand Jameson Williams is back, but he has not really been much of a factor so far. They play completely different positions.
Yep, and the Ravens play tight ends very strong. So Laporta, I think, doesn't get as much love as everybody thinks he's going to get this week. I do like Jahmyr Gibbs as well in this. Keep the ball close to home. But Josh,
I've been burned by Jahmyr Gibbs too much.
Me too, and like that's the thing. It's just like, do I really trust it? But Josh Reynolds, I like both the receiving total at 2.5, and I like the over on the that's receptions, and then the over on the receiving total, which I'm just making sure has not moved. I don't want to be.
I'm just looking. Another one of my notes here. Another one of my notes just says Josh Reynolds back to the well. I did scribble it out though because I don't like going back to the well. I like coming up with new ideas for people.
Look, this is a great spot for him. It's a great spot for him. He's at 33.5 on the score. I'm not looking at anything else right now.
My only hesitation. My only hesitation with Josh Reynolds is just that the Ravens defense is slightly underrated. They actually are playing really well. They've just been in some really tough matchups.
But John, 33.5 yards.
Yeah, it's not much.
33.5 yards. To put it this way, Sam Laporta's at 43.5, and Josh Reynolds has a substantially better matchup than Sam Laporta does this week. So with that being said, like I would gladly take, even at 43.5, when you look at Sam Laporta, like the looks he gets, it's still tempting to take. But no, it just makes me look at Josh Reynolds and go 33.5. Come on, this is a steal. Those lines, in my opinion, should be switched. They should be switched.
Yeah.
It should be Sam Laporta 33.5, and it should be Josh Reynolds at 43.5. But so I'll take it. I will take it. They got it wrong, I think. And Odell Beckham, something really fishy in this game. Something very fishy.
I was just going to say,
21.5. Does that that seems clinically ill? Like he should be.
Yes, it's like, what 30. Do you know, Vegas?
Yeah,
what do you know that we don't know, Vegas?
What do you know? They know something.
Why?
And Odell.
It seems like a bear trap.
It does seem like a bear trap. I'm staying right away from it. So don't do it. I'm just telling the viewers right now that when I looked at these lines and I went, that is too good of a line for Odell.
Yeah.
It's way too good of a line for Odell, and that scares me.
Yeah.
So I'm saying stay away. he also came out in the media, and maybe I'm just reading too much into this right now. He came out and said this past week that he said, basically, I'll be utilized when the time's right. So he means
Right.
playoffs. And
Right.
so, do they plan on
Yeah.
giving him less snaps?
Mm.
Do they plan on giving Bateman more action this week?
I mean, they gave
And
him $17 million, so they've got to start using him
it
soon.
doesn't matter. He's worth it. He's worth it if he has one game like he did leading up to the Super Bowl the other year.
Right.
And they go,
Yep.
if he wins them a
Yep.
playoff game single-handedly, which he can,
Yep.
he's that type
Yep.
of receiver. And if he
Yep.
does, the whole all of Baltimore is going to get down on their hands and knees for this guy. So
Yep.
I mean, I think he's going to get his in time. This week is not the week. So even at 20, that makes me feel like somebody knows that the coaching staff is going to reduce his snap count this week, give him more time to rest, and then they're going to play Nelson Aguilar. They're going to play. I don't know if Bateman's in the game. It doesn't look like it.
I mean, they've hardly used him at all. They might even go into 2 tight end package sets here with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely.
I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that happening.
Do they still have Isaiah? Who was it? Josh Oliver or something like that. They're other tight.
Yeah, they have Josh Oliver as well. So I think 12 personnel. Gus the Bus, big game for Gus the Bus.
Big run game.
Still don't think I would take it though. Detroit's been really stingy. So Detroit's quietly built one of the best defensive teams in the league.
They're insane, man.
Detroit.
Their rushing defense might be the best in the league. Like if you want to bet Gus Edwards under, Justice Hill under, I'm completely comfortable with that. I wouldn't bet Lamar Jackson under rushing just because it's a different position.
He's slippery.
Yeah,
he's slippery.
But the running backs,
you
can go under. Yeah.
I love it. There's a game that just seems also way too obvious, but I really like it, and it's the Green Bay Packers against the Denver Broncos. On both sides of the ball, it just seems like a free-for-all. And
seems like shootouts going to happen.
It does, and I like pass catching for the running backs. So I like pass catching from Aaron Jones, and I like pass catching from Javonte Williams. I think both are in play for me.
I prefer Javonte Williams just because he's been doing it a little bit more, though not too much. Is Aaron Jones healthy? Is he fully healthy now? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So everything that he said was he was good to go, 100%.
Okay, because I know he's been sort of a little bit underutilized.
Yeah, definitely. And after that big game here's the reason that I think I like him more is A.J. Dillon just had a monster game.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a lot of people on A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, and they like to chop and change. Yeah.
Yes,
and this is the thing about teams is it doesn't matter how consistent my prop lines are or my spreadsheets are because the coaches, they need to change it up. Otherwise, if they keep doing the same thing, teams will figure them out. So, yeah.
100%. And Aaron Jones is at 18.5 right now on his receiving yards, and he has consistently been one of the top 3 receivers on the team for a very long time. He's an extremely good satellite running back, and extremely underrated actually in his ability to escape and elude and get out on those little hook routes. So I think, hey, look, that's a great line at 18.5. The reception total for him is at 2.5, so they think he's going to probably get that 3. Typically you can assume on average a running back with a reception gets about 6 to 7 yards. So if you see a 3 total, then that they're assuming somewhere around 20, 21. Aaron Jones is one of those players that consistently over-delivers over the 6. So he's more in the line at 8, 9 that he gets per completion. Hey, look, even at that total, if he does 1 at 10 and then 1 at 9, he hits it. If he does 2 at 6 and then 1 at 8, 1 at 9, he hits it. So I don't know. It seems pretty obvious for me that line's going to hit. So lock that up. Aaron Jones over 18.5 receiving yards.
And the only thing I'll really add to that one as well is we can write Denver off as a playoff team for sure, and we can sort of nearly write their season off. But the Packers, they need to win this game to stay in the hunt.
They have to win this
game.
game.
This is a must-win. So yeah, I do like some overs here. Jordan Love has to play well.
If they don't win this game, it looks very bad on Green Bay. It looks very, very bad. Hey, and
Yeah.
you know what? That can do one of two things to the coaching staff. That can make them take more chances and chuck the ball downfield, or they could play a very strategic game to try and just squeak this one out,
Yeah.
which I think they're going to do. And that involves
Yeah.
very easy completions.
All right. I want to finish here. Do you have any more that you wanted to go over? Yeah.
No,
Do you want
dude,
to go
that's
over
it.
another one?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
I want to finish up with the Sunday night football game real quick. I think it's going to be an awesome game. Dolphins are going to Philadelphia. Two of the best teams in the league by far. It's got shootout potential all over it. Eagles are favored -3, so it's going to be a close one at home, and the over-under is 51. A lot of overs here that I think that you could look at, and one under. I think you can stack AJ Brown overs if you want to go receiving or receptions. Either one I think is fine. And you could stack that with Jalen Hurts over passing as well, because he's been doing a really good job passing the ball lately. He hasn't been running too much, although I understand he did run a little bit last game. And then my other note is Tyreek Hill is going to go off because the Eagles have not been able to stop the wide receiver one on any team that they've really played this season. So Tyreek Hill, I think, is going to have an absolutely monster game. It doesn't mean I'm going to bet Tua over passing, though, because Jalen Waddle has not really sort of kept pace with Tyreek Hill so far this season. And then they don't have any like tight ends, and Braxton Berrios I don't want to rely on either, even though Tua's done a good job of passing the ball.
I agree.
And then my last note is just avoid the run for the Dolphins, because the Eagles' run defense, again, like the Lions, is one of the best. Incredible. They've stopped everybody. Jeff Wilson's going to suit up, and his first game back, I don't think he's going to have my boy Jeffrey. Jeffrey's going to have a tough one. His first game back, I think.
Hold on. So just quickly, what did I offer you in fantasy football in our dynasty league for Jeff Wilson?
You offered me a fab dollar.
One fab dollar. That's after you insulted me and offered me a fourth for Joe Mixon.
You wanted a first. I'm not giving you a first.
I was just fishing. I was fishing, bro. I was fishing.
Okay. No, I appreciate it.
In that Sunday night game, I like DeAndre Swift over on his receiving yards, and he's at 22.5.
Yes. DeAndre Swift is playing lights out at the moment. He's one of the best running backs in the league right now.
He's absolutely incredible. So I think there we go. That is our week. John, thank you so much for tuning in on the coast. This is
I like this remote potting. It's good fun, especially with this new phone I've got. It's good quality as well.
You got the 15, yeah?
I did. I got the 15 Pro Max Ultra.
You're
awesome.
so ultra insano. You're so bougie, John.
It's been 5 years since I had a new phone, so
really,
yeah,
really, okay. So you've been saving your shekels.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people who upgrades every year.
Shekels.
Yeah. But yeah, so to recap,
gotta have it.
Yeah. I've got here, recap. Josh Allen over 20.5 rushing. I've got Josh Jacobs over 20.5 receiving. I like. You could throw in Ken Walker over 80.5 rushing. They don't love it. It's a high one. Wan'Dale Robinson over 3.5 catches. And Sunday night game should be a good one as well.
Cool. On my side of things, I've got Matt Stafford over 22 completions.
Nice.
I've got Josh Reynolds 2.5 receptions, as well as his 33.5 receiving. In the Raiders game, I really like Josh Jacobs over 20 receiving yards. If you want to sprinkle in a same game on that one, don't be scared to take Donta Foreman over 15.5. Was it 15.5? Yeah, I think it was 15.5. Or it might be 17.5. Somewhere in there. It's a lot, but they're going to run the ball 25 times. And if it's 15.5 or 17.5, I still feel comfortable taking it. And then what else did I say there?
Josh Reynolds.
I said that. Josh Reynolds. Michael Mayer, I really like his 2.5 receiving receptions. That's in the Vegas game again. And Aaron Jones over 18.5 receiving yards. And on this, if you want to take one added pick to what John was talking about on the Sunday nighter, I don't be scared to take DeAndre Swift over 22.5 receiving yards. And that's that.
For sure. And I'd have AJ Brown overs there as well. I really like, or Tyreek Hill even.
You like those. And so, what do you got? So for that game, if you're going to do a same game parlay, you're going to roll, I know you're going to roll the stack right there with AJ Brown. And then you're also going to take Tyreek Hill, which is an insane line. It's massive.
It'll be huge. I don't care.
Yeah, you're into it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Don't be scared to add DeAndre Swift into that one.
That's it, man. All right, take us out. I'm gonna try roll this music. Hang on.
All right, roll it from your phone.
Let's go.
Okay,
I gotta turn it down.
7 Prop Nation. Thank you guys for listening. Well, that was loud. Johnny boy.
There we go.
You have
I'm good.
a good
I'm on the
one.
producer.
Enjoy your day on the coast. I'm gonna keep working on this mezzanine. Peace.
Let's do it.